Hi everyone, this is a short video to help you answer own words questions in your RUAE National 5 exam. I'll be using the 2019 SQA past paper as an example, so it might be beneficial to you if you have that in front of you while you're watching this video. I'll make sure it's available on Teams and it's also available on the SQA website. To answer own words questions, you should follow this structure. Okay, so there's 3 steps to this. The first thing you're going to do is read the question, check marks and the line numbers. So you want to make sure that you really clearly understand what the question is asking you to do, and you're then going to check how many marks it's worth. This is because if it's worth 4 marks, you need to say 4 things. If it's worth 3 marks, you need to say 3 things, and so on. You're then going to just double check the line numbers as well, and you're going to in some way like highlight this or bracket it off so that it's really clear to you what part of the passage you are going to get your answers for this. Your second point is you're going to reread the lines that you've just bracketed off, and you're going to highlight anything that jumps out to you that you might want to change into your own words that will answer this question as you read. The final thing you're going to do is you're going to use bullet points to change the things that you've highlighted into your own words. And remember, if it's 4 marks, you should have highlighted 4 things, and you should be changing 4 things into your words using bullet points as well. Okay, so let's give it a go using that method of answering then. So here's your passage, and you will of course have read through the whole thing before you have looked at the question. So we'll imagine that you've read through this. I know that you're already familiar with it because you've done it in class kind of fairly recently. So read through it first of all, then you're going to get your questions. Now, we are going to jump to the third question because that is the first own words question in this passage. And it's asking us to look at lines 12 to 20. And then summarise, using your own words as far as possible, how McDonald's developed in Britain in the 1980s. You should make 4 key points in your answer. Okay, so we've read the question, we understand really clearly what it's asking us to do, and we've also checked to see that it is worth 4 marks, so we know that we need to be doing 4 things, offering 4 bullet points in our answer. We can also see that it's lines 12 to 20, so we're going to go back to our passage, and we're going to find these lines, and we're going to bracket them off, like so. Okay, so this way we know it is this section here that we are looking for. Now we're going to reread these lines, and as we read we're going to highlight anything that jumps out at us that may answer this question about how McDonald's developed. So we'll just start from line 12, fast forward to 1983, and there are still only 100 McDonald's restaurants in the UK. The odds remain against most people seeing one. They literally do not know what they are missing. Then 1986 rolls around, and 3 things happen to boost our acquaintance with fast food empires. In Middlesex, the first franchises are given out by McDonald's to allow individuals to run their own stores. I'm going to stop there because I think that is the first thing that answers that question about how McDonald's developed. And we'll continue. Another introduction is the Happy Meal. Again, so there's something else that we can write about, so we'll give that a little highlight. The very title of which suggests things have moved on from buying food to buying emotions. Eat this to feel like this. Things are now about experience. The standout concept in late 86 though is the drive-through. So again, that's how things have developed. And there is other things in here as well, but I'm going to stick to the ones that I feel most confident with currently. The missing O, G and H, letting Brits know things are different. Or at least in Manchester, where the first one opened, followed before the end of the year by drive-throughs in London and the West Midlands. So again, this is another kind of different point about drive-throughs and how they're becoming more popular. So I'm going to highlight that one as well. Now we know this is worth 4 marks, and we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things highlighted. So we can now move on and start trying to answer these by using bullet points. So let's give this a go. Now just a quick reminder that the question is asking you about how McDonald's developed. So we're going to start with the first point. The first franchises are given out by McDonald's to allow individuals to run their own stores. And we're using bullet points for this as well. Okay, so we could say something along the lines of, people were given their own restaurants to manage. Now what this has done is this has taken the general idea of this, idea that the meaning here, and we've said it in a different way. We haven't taken kind of word for word and tried to translate because that is too difficult. We've taken the rough idea and we've put it into our own words, sorry. So there's our first point. We're then going to move on to our second one, which is this, another introduction, is the Happy Meal. Now, we can't say Happy Meal, we can't say introduction, but what McDonald's are doing here is they're bringing out new products. So we can see that they expanded their products. So there's another mark. Then we're going to go on to our next bullet point. Now, this is the stand-up concept in late 86 though, is the drive-through. Now, drive-through is quite a hard thing to change into your own words, and the marking scheme for this passage does actually say that lifts of drive-through are accepted. However, I think for this, we can change it, so let's do it if we can. What really is a drive-through? It just stops you having to go into the shop to order. So we can say that they introduced a system where you did not need to enter to order. You can still just sit in your car and drive through. And then on to the last one, which is still about drive-throughs, and I think we will pinch that word there, those words drive-through. Now this is about how they opened their first one in Manchester, and then by the end of the year there was some in London and the West Midlands. So this is the idea that drive-throughs were becoming more popular. So we can say that McDonald's, they popularised drive-throughs. Drive-throughs. And that is us done. We have used bullet points to really clearly structure this, so we know at a glance that we have done 4 things, so we can quite confidently move on to the next question. This is why you should use bullet points. We can see we've got 1 mark there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It makes it easy for your marker as well, which you should try and keep at the front of your mind. Some people, when they're answering own words questions, will tend to waffle. Bullet points will stop you from doing this as well. So you want it to look like this, short, sharp, to the point. You don't want it to look like this. Now this is just a big chunk of text. Now if you read through it, it's not bad. Okay, so they've said McDonald's developed in many ways in Britain in the 1980s. For example, they gave people their own restaurants to manage. They also expanded their products by bringing in things like Happy Meals. Now this is not bad. Okay, this does actually get 2 marks. They get 1 for about giving people their own restaurants to manage, and they also get 1 for they expanded their products. However, everything else around this is just fluff. It is detail that you don't need and you don't get any marks for it. So if we take away everything that you're not getting a mark for here, you can see how much extra work this person has done. Well, it was me, but you get the point. They also expanded their products. All of this, you can get rid of all of this. This was all wasted work that we didn't need to do, and it wastes time that we just don't have. Okay, so make sure you don't waffle like this. Keep it short, sharp, to the point, like this.